and welcome back to another Witchfire video. This is yet again another spellcasting video. I have a build type that I enjoy. No hates please. However, it's also mixing in Echo, because Firebreath is very close range. This entire build is close ranged, as you will see. So, Echo has the pellets from the shotgun shells explode after iteration and apply burn to nearby enemies. This is good. We like sources of burn. Burn is crazy. If you can get it to if you can get auto crits on burning enemies, this is even crazier. Then we have Roguelite, Dynamo Ring, and Burning Stake. I've shown off this trio in the past. If you get Conductor, this alone is enough to make it crazy. Even if you don't, it's still decent if you tag a big target. I don't really use this much in the gameplay because I don't need to. It's just a useful thing in my back pocket that can be subbed out if you want. For my heavy weapon, I'm using the following style grenade launcher just because it's very useful for getting rid of the warden. The lantern goes to hurries along calamities and helps you finish him off earlier. Easier. You can snipe him across the map, even around corners if you can get it to lock on. If you are not yet good enough to deal with, or not yet experienced enough rather, to deal with calamities, and you don't want to farm them for raven feathers, this is a good way to deal with it. If you want to farm calamities for raven feathers, be my guest. It's fun to do that sometimes. Firebreath is the main point of this build. It shoots a cone of fire that does multiple ticks of damage. At base, it's a bit on the weak side, but if they're already burning, with the burning debuff on them, it ends up dealing about double damage. If they're stunned, it's doing like quadruple damage. Which means on stunned burning enemies, you can make this chunk, especially if you have an Arcana, like Accelerant or Pyrolysis. Burning Stake is a very reliable way of applying burn, so that you don't need to waste your first charge just applying burn with Firebreath. You can actually just use this for damage. Additionally, Firebreath usually procs the explosion from Burning Stake fairly easily, which turns this into a very good source of ad clear. Anyone who's run Stormbolt and Burning Stake knows this very well. I have the Mad Woman, is still my favorite relic. Lots of the relics are kind of but this is a free execute. It's very easy to use and it can help you with the breakpoints on making Firebreath one-shot stuff. So it's technically a two-shot, but who cares. For the Fetish, Mandrake is a free revive. I have said before, this far outdoes the others. The others are like minor buffs or thorns-based stuff. It's not worth it. Dynamo Ring, because if you have Roguelite, this is just an amazing combo to turn someone into a walking Tesla. Now, as for Arcana, Air, Fire, Earth, Dead Eyes, Heaviness, Lightness, Spells. Air is for just in case you get Conductor, that's its only purpose here. I just like it. You can swap it out for something else, like an ammo-based perk, so you can get critical hits restore ammo. That has a chance to show up on this, I believe. But both of these can give you critical burn. So if you can get the one that reloads ammo to your gun, where you get critical hits, but Echo doesn't need to stop firing. It's crazy. For Prophecy of Fire, you want critical burn, Pyrolysis, and Accelerant. As for pretty much every single fire build, other than like the Judgment build where you don't want critical burn so much, you just want... I mean, it's useful, but it's better to get fire orbs, maybe to help make the chain reaction more absurd. For Prophecy of Earth, there is... I believe it's called Final Putrefaction, or something like that. It makes the final tick of decay reduce the target's max HP by 20, which is another great reason for having Roguelite tag a target at the start of a fight, and by the end of it, they will take a big chunk of damage. If you get atrophy, you can also make them do less damage. Or you can increase decay, tick strength with another one whose name I don't remember. But atrophy and the putrefaction one are the main two. Prophecy of Dead Eyes can increase crit damage. I think it can also... It can give you critical burn, and I think it can also give you the critical reload. Those are all very good perks. Prophecy of Heaviness can give you painful recharge, which means so long as you just let yourself take a hit, you can keep casting spells. So, considering how most of the damage in this game is chip damage, and you have Wellspring instants to just make a lot of the damage bosses do to you not matter, it's a no-brainer. It's absurdly good. If it comes up fairly often for Prophecy of Heaviness, it seems to come up more often than the other perks, but that could just be my bias. Prophecy of Lightness gives you extra light spell charge, as well as 2 different recharge perks. Amnesia Spellcast is also nice with how much you're going to be spamming this, and that can show up in either of these. But the most important one are the light spell recharge perks. Prophecy of Spells can give you Arcana basically, if you missed any elemental Arcana you need, or if you need a neutral Arcana, this is the place where you have a chance of getting it. As for stats, ignore the force you want to mind. That was an accident. I'm going to max out Witchery first, just because it's, at this point, doesn't really matter too much, because I've already got all the stats I need for the rosaries. You need 14 every stat to be able to use any rosary, so this is more just playstyle focused. I really like the spellcasting, and I find that having high cooldowns, especially when they don't passively go down, makes the game feel stiff. So with Witchery, I can spam spells a lot more. I'm going to max this out first, just because that's my playstyle. As for Rosary, Divine Intervention, plus 20% to your chance to not take damage when you are hit, or to not increase the Cataclysm. The latter is a bit annoying if you want to farm, but if you are blundering about, and somewhat rusty or new to the game, it's a very useful perk to have. Spell Recharge Speed. That's a no-brainer. I don't know if it's additive or multiplicative. If it's additive, it helps heavy spells more. If it's multiplicative, it helps light spells more. Light Spell Charge Speed, because of how Witchfire being restored to you works, you will get big chunks a lot that will overflow, which means it's technically helping speed up your cooldowns, especially on bosses who return a lot more with fire than other enemies. Pre-Arcana Bead means you can save all of your White Raven Feathers just for picking up other Arcana, instead of having to reveal the Arcana, because that is not free. It's good on every single build, but especially spellcasting builds that require a very specific Arcana. Short range bead because Echo. If you want to swap something else out, I would swap out this or the short range bead. This is very much easy to use and it helps with your mobility. So you aren't in the up as a sitting duck if your shotgun burns through your stamina along with your spells. But this is technically not needed. So I would take Element Immunity or bonus health or bonus elixir slots or bonus Wellspring strength. Yeah, instant speed. Yeah, so instance activation chance and powers, that'll be 15% more max HP from Wellspring Instance, which means you can proc Painful Recharge more often. Again, Painful Recharge isn't really guaranteed, but because the pool of perks for this prophecy is so low, it feels almost guaranteed. I swear it pops up on like 70% of my runs. It's fair enough, it's common enough to bank on it. And yeah, awkward transition go.